Samuel F.B. Morse was born on April 27, 1791 in Charlestown, one of the oldest neighborhoods in Boston, Massachusetts. In his earlier years, Morse made himself known as a portrait painter, but something else was driving him. It was a keen interest in inventing, and in 1832 he developed a prototype for what was to become the telegraph, and along with that, a code that used the telegraph to transmit information across long distances. Morse initially thought that letters couldn't be efficiently transferred across the machine, so he decided that he should use numbers to represent letters. His partner at the time, Alfred Vail, who was himself an inventor from New Jersey, suggested that they use dots and dashes to directly represent each letter, instead of having to convert the information from numbers. Vail was actually the one who created the code, which we all know now as Morse code. With a complete and elaborate plan on how to make this machine work, Morse and Vail approached the U.S. Congress to try and secure the financing to bring their idea to life. And, in 1843, Congress gave Morse a $30,000 grant to build an experimental telegraph line between Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. A year later, on May 24, 1844, the first message was sent and received across the line from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore, Maryland. It read simply, "What hath God wrought," which echoed the first message over the Chappe system. "If you succeed, you will bask in glory." Claude Chappe was a French inventor who created a different system of towers that made the shape of a letter from the top of a hill. A receiver watched with a telescope and copied down the message. However, with Morse's system, there was no need for giant towers and the requirement to see the machine. The telegraph key was connected to an electromagnetic relay, which tapped out a message of dots and dashes. Someone else at the other end of the line wrote down what he heard, translating a short tap as a dot and a longer tap as a dash. The dots and dashes were then translated into letters, which turned into a message. Over time, telegraph operators with more experience could translate the sounds directly into letter and pass the message faster. Morse attempted to sell the invention to the government but was turned down. Eventually, Morse was able to sell this new system of communication to regional interests. Lines were built in the most potentially profitable route from New York to Washington, Buffalo, Boston, and New Orleans. Morse then licensed feeder lines from businesses into the main routes, and from that point on, the telegraph changed the way people communicated. As technology evolved, the wired telegraph was eventually replaced by radio telegraph, telephones, and the advent of television and satellite broadcasting. Though it should be noted that many countries were using Morse code in official transmission until the late 90s, and amateur radio operators all over the globe continued to use this timeless form of communication.